Tuesday, May 20th. Welcome back to Damon Bruce Plus. Always great to see you. Thanks for being here. Brought to you by Ike Sandwiches. And oh, look, I'm even rocking my Dubliner t-shirt today. Why wouldn't I? Good to have you here. Thanks so much for stopping on by. I see that there is a new little feature here on the chat. I use StreamYard, and they say that I can toggle this button and show comments on stage. Let's give it a try for a day. Let's see how it works. Apparently, as you now comment, it will appear right on the video. Okay, this is brand new. I've never even seen it before. We'll see if it works. We're all about trying things out in the offseason. It's all practice time. Why not? It is really good to have you here once again. Look, we're here to talk about leadership today. You know, leadership. Oh, look, there it is. There's the first. Oh, see, there it is. There's a little. Now, when you chat, it appears right there on the screen. How about that? Interesting. Okay, so, leadership is something we don't talk an awful lot about. It's like assumed. You figure that people who officially made it all the way to a professional sports arena are just, leaders in their own right. They're not. Being a leader is a unique thing. It really is. If you see the thumbnail today, everybody on that thumbnail wears a Captain C on their jersey. Fred Warner, who got a brand new contract. Congratulations to Fred Warner. $63 million contract, $56 million in guaranteed money over 3 years. He is now the NFL's highest paid linebacker. Good for Fred Warner. I like it. I really do. He is an important leader on this team. He is somebody who sets the tone for what the 49ers do on game day. I broke up the three guys. Leadership comes in different flavors. It really does. And captains that now span several years across the same team, these are a dying breed. You don't see guys stick around to be career anythings very much anymore. And two of these guys, in George Kittle and Fred Warner, really do seem to be on that path to they will be career 49ers, never put on another uniform. Now, we'll see what ends up happening with Brock Purdy. Obviously, he just got paid, isn't going anywhere for the next 5 years. We all know that. But these guys are such important tone setters for the franchise. There's only so much coach yelling, X's and O's talking. There's only so much that can absolutely, be done in terms of, how about this? In the NFL, there are no Udonis Haslams. There's no leading by an example that I used to set. Now I'm here to just be friendly veteran advice. Udonis Haslem was a really good Miami Heat player for a lot of years, and then he was a can't even play him level basketball player, but he stayed rostered because he was such a leader. The guy wouldn't play but for 2-3 minutes a season at times in his career, but he was always on the team because he was such a leader. That's allowed, I guess, to happen in basketball. It doesn't happen in football. To be a leader on a football team, you got to be out there taking the snaps. There's no leading from behind in the sport of football. So this brings us now to George Kittle. George Kittle is a keep it light, keep it cool, keep it easy breezy type of a leader. And you need that guy. You need somebody to put the whoopee cushion on the coach's seat before he sits down, because it breaks an awful lot of tension in the room. I think it's important. I think it's important to have a guy who knows how to lighten the mood. And George Kittle's certainly done that. George Kittle has been a student of wrestling his entire life. It's why his interviews are fantastic. He's great leading the media to happier, better stories. He's just a tone setter for the entire organization. And the tone that he is setting is, how lucky are we to be here? Let's have fun. And I love that. And the team needs it. And they are better off to have a guy like George Kittle in the room. A guy like Fred Warner, he's like a keep it real captain. He just keeps it 100. Fred, not a lot of show in Fred. Not a lot of performer in Fred. He might have grown up watching wrestling videos, but he didn't want to model his entire public-facing persona after professional wrestling the way that George Kittle so naturally has done. Fred Warner is just a calm, cool, steady, no nonsense, no BS guy. And you hear that in the answers that he gives in his press conferences. This guy just grinded out most of a football season on a broken ankle, playing more special team snaps than ever before. Again, the bell was rung. We need to get better on special teams. Fred Warner, he answered that bell. He's going to keep it 100. He's not going to ask somebody to go out and do something he's not willing to do for himself. And that's why Fred Warner is, a forever 49er. He really is. He's so important for this team. Then you got a guy like Brock Purdy, quiet and unassuming. It's easy to look past him and say, well, that guy's not going to be a football leader. But the truth is the guy grinds and everybody around him sees it and knows it and is attracted to it and is inspired by it. One of the reasons why I think this Brock Purdy contract got done is because they weren't worried about him holding out. Well, if you say, well, they're not worried about him holding out, why wouldn't they wait longer to do the contract? No, I think they're rewarding the guy for just being the type of guy that he is. Brock Purdy got his opportunity by not missing practice, by being ready when his number was called. It certainly wasn't called first. He certainly wasn't brought up second. But should, in the rare instances, a third quarterback really come into focus this season, will you be ready? And Brock was like, not only am I going to be ready, I'm going to be better than these first two guys in front of me. Players respect that probably more than anything else on a football field. They really do. It's one thing to be the five-star blue chipper who's been handed a skill set from Zeus himself and lead by being a physical example that everybody wants to be, or the other way. The guy who was not built to be here, not suspected to be here, not even really drafted to be here, but this motherfucker's still here, and he's kicking our asses. Players love that. They love going to war with that. They respect that more than an awful lot of people who actually cover the team do, to be totally honest with you. So, man, I absolutely love that the three guys signed are true leaders. You got Warner, you got Kittle, you got Brock Purdy, all getting the kind of dollars that you, again, want setting the tone for your team. Oh, great. They gave all that money to Deshaun Watson. Doesn't that really set the tone for Cleveland? And isn't that the neighborhood that Cleveland lives in? Questionable dollar amount given it to a questionable guy. And that's a franchise that's still got nothing but questions around it. There's correlation there, kids. That is real. That is absolutely real. 510 Steve says, the 49ers are signing one guy each day to give Damon and other local media members content during the dog days of sports. Well, hey, we'll take all these slow trickle, slow drip news you can give when you got to fill a little content every day. But I'm going to tell you right now, folks, we talk sports over here, and there's something to talk about sports every single day. We don't just need one thing. And the beauty is don't ever confuse me with just a 49er content creator. We got other things to talk about here too. But this is a big story. And this is big news because I just remember last offseason, chaos and uncertainty being the things that define the offseason. Now, there was a whole bunch of, hand-wringing over money not being spent during free agency that felt like it was going to set the tone of offseason. That's gone now. To me, that's a distant memory. The tone of this offseason is bring back the pillars that we lean on the most. And they did that. They signed two of them just this week and the other just last week. The coincidence of this money being splashed around to these leaders and Jed York selling off a percentage of his team happening in the same week, again, there's no coincidence at all. This is about cash flow, baby. Even the richest people in the world have trouble dialing up cash flow. By the way, I don't know if you know this, but Go to a really big bank, like a really big bank, not some tiny little bank that's out in some annexed village that's far away, but you can go to like a big bank in downtown San Francisco and tell them, like, I'd like to withdraw $15,000 in cash. And one of the first things they'll say to you is, well, let's see if we have that on hand. Because they don't keep that much cash actually like in the vault. Everything in banking is done electronically. The physical presence of that much money in any bank, even with a bank that has got a big vault that you can walk into, that's not where they really keep the money. That's where they keep P.O. boxes and stuff, or lock boxes. So cash flow on hand is something you don't even find in a lot of banks. Cash flow for NFL teams, even though it looks like they're constantly printing their money, you got to turn around. You got to put this money in escrow for all these players. It is an awful lot of money, a Herculean task to have the cash reserves to put a roster together. So, of course, there's correlation there. But it's not a surprise. By the way, Dre Greenlaw, had that guy not torn his hamstring, I think he gets signed too, under all the same reasons that these guys get signed. And these are not the only leaders on this team, by the way. Not even close. By the way, little sip of the day coming up here. This feels about right. Let's see. Yes. There it is. Success. Christian McCaffrey is without a doubt a leader on this San Francisco 49ers team. You spend one day at training camp and you're like, who's that dude busting it 80 yards after everybody else has given up on this, touch football level of practice that we're having this afternoon? But there's one guy just busting it downfield, taking it to the end zone, no matter where he is all the time. Who is that guy? He must be really desperate to make the team. No, it's Christian McCaffrey. That guy is a let me show you what hard work really looks like tone setter. The 0 ounces of body fat on him. This is another place where Nick Bosa is a leader. He's not really a do what I say type of leader. He's a do as I do type of leader. Because Nick Bosa shows up on game day, and Nick Bosa is one of the single most imposing, shredded figures you will ever see. In a room full of professional athletes, he is on a level of physical specimen that very few professional athletes ever reach. Like, there are a whole bunch of ripped, shredded dudes, and then there's Nick Bosa. He is one of one. And that is like a little bit of a leadership quality on a football field. He's a very quiet guy. He even admitted, like, he felt the Devondre Campbell incident coming in that game, but he didn't say anything about it. He should have. He regretted that. So I don't think Bosa is a very vocal leader, but he's without a doubt a leader on this team. A guy who's about to be a leader on this team, there's no doubt in my mind, Diamador Lenore. I think he is ready for his close-up. And Diamador Lenore is one of the best young, talented players on this football team, and I think that he is without a doubt now about to embrace that leadership role, whether he gets a captaincy put on his chest or not. It does not matter. Trent Williams, again, here's a guy unquestionably one of the best in the league at what he does, but I don't know how much of an actual leader Trent Williams really is. People admire him. They don't want to mess with him, but I don't know if that's real leadership. It feels a little bit more like a mercenary role for him because, he held out. To me, guys who held out, I'm going to side-eye you a little bit while you're doing that. Deebo Samuel, more of a showboat leader than I think an actual leader, an emotional leader. He led the procession out of the tunnel, and that doesn't happen by accident, by the way. That's a choice that the team is making. This guy represents us stepping onto the football field next to the big boombox. I liked it. I got no problems with that at all. The problem that I had with Deebo Samuel is when they turned the boombox off and the football game started. That's where the problems began for him being an actual, are you helping the team win today level leader? It was hard to find that at times. Brandon Ayuk is never going to be a leader. He's going to be a producer. I don't think he's going to be a leader. Hopefully he's a producer again. I think the three most important pillars of leadership that this team has to offer got signed and the business is done, and neither is going anywhere for a long time. And that is something that is a feather in the cap of this front office and this franchise. The Niners are good at identifying players that matter and need to stick around. They really are. Rarely does, San Francisco identify the player that they want and not be able to keep that player. Players like it here. It's a well-run franchise, regardless of how you might feel about it at times. It really is. Again, more than any other sport, football needs emotional, spiritual, physical leadership. More than any other sport, because football is there to break you physically, mentally. It's there to test your patience. It's there to test how hard you work when nobody's looking at all times. Again, veteran advice doesn't cut it. There are no Udonis Haslams in the NFL. You're either out there playing, risking it by the down, or you're just one of the other guys. You don't see a lot of leaders coming off the bench. By the way, let me ask you, how do you guys like the fact that your comments pop up on the screen? Is this a good feature? Is this helpful to you? Do you like it? I don't know how I feel about it. I can tell you, I can't read a word over there. I still got to go into the actual chat to see any of it. I do see that we have a couple of supers. I can put those up over here. Saying Brock Purdy is the better Rudy story. SF Indigo, $2 in the ganja jar. Thank you, SF. I can tell you right now that Rudy was a better movie than he was an on-campus entity at Notre Dame. All those Notre Dame players really didn't like Rudy very much. He was not the guy that they rallied around. They regret to this day carrying him off the field after he made one play because he hasn't shut the fuck up about it his entire life. So that's just like the local boots on the ground story in South Bend. But yeah, I mean, Brock Purdy is out there as the starting quarterback. He didn't make a special teams tackle. Got a feeling this is going to be a very good season from Joseph Ehrenberg. Oh my God. Joseph finding positivity in these moves. Who would have ever assumed? Mike Baker. A little something for the JJ Raider celebration jar. Mike Baker. Thank you very much, Mike. We are always thrilled to tuck bucks in the ganja jar. The JJ Raider ganja jar. There she is. And thank you very, very much. Always appreciate the supers, appreciate the supports, appreciate the likes, the subscribes. Have you hit subscribe? We got 114 people in the room and only 34 likes right now. Come on, people. I understand everyone just doesn't have the physical ability to reach out and just go boop with the tip of your finger. That hurts me a little. Just boop. It doesn't mean that you're going to get more of me across your feed if you don't want me. If you don't want me, why are you here? Maybe you're just checking it out for the first time. You don't want to commit. You don't want to hit subscribe yet, but just a like. Boop. That's easy. Let me just, look, I'm going to do it. Boop. I just did it. I liked my own video. It's a little shady, don't you think? Stuff in the ballot box, just a little. I can only do it once, though. The Red Jet knows what's up. Like and sub. It's just that simple. Kenneth says, I'm watching on my TV, so I feel like, so I really like the chat feature on the side. Maybe it does play much better on a bigger screen than the tiny little computer screen that I got in front of me here. So thank you. Thank you very much. You want to talk about supporting the product that is. Look at my man right here. San Bruno Mike, a member of this channel now for 17 months, which means he must have signed up the very first day we even offered, saying, come on, people. If I can quote Rick Barry, come on. Thank you very, very much. Look, leadership is so important for a football team. It's not the most important thing. But you have to have guys setting the tone that lasts through the most physically brutal sport there is. And the guys who are setting that tone have to be respected producers. And in Brock Purdy, George Kittle, and Fred Warner, that is exactly what the 49ers have. By the way, you want a respected producer? Boom, right there. That guy produces nothing but sandwiches that get him respect from anyone who eats one. Get yourself to Ike's. Sign up for that Love Rewards program and start earning your way towards free sandwiches. You'd be crazy not to. You know that Ike really is partnering with the WNBA and a lot of their players, and he's got some WNBA players designing sandwiches. The Cameron Brink, is this as beautiful a sandwich as she is a woman? It kind of looks like Cameron Diaz. Cam Brink, who played at Stanford, that's where I got to know her. Her sandwich has got pastrami, purple slaw, buffalo wing sauce, zesty orange glaze, wasabi mayo, avocado, American pepper jack cheese, and extra dirty sauce. That's going to be a very wet sandwich. She's got a lot of sauces. Got the wing sauce, the orange glaze, the wasabi mayo, extra dirty sauce. I'm not here to say I don't like it. I like a saucy sandwich. I don't like a wet sandwich, though. A saucy sandwich and a wet sandwich are two different things. A wet sandwich, to me, a sandwich gets all wet when you put too much lettuce and tomato on it. Then it gets all wet. I don't mind drippy sauce sandwich, though. I tell you, before I ordered the Cam Brink, though, I think I would order one of these. This is the KP Nasty, named after Kelsey Plum. Fried chicken, barbecue sauce. So it starts like the Jamie Sirewich, which was one of my favorites. Little honey mustard, purple slaw, French dressing, cheddar cheese, and if you ask for it Kelsey's way, it includes a full portion of pastrami. Cam Brink, she's a pastrami girl too. How do these female athletes know how to eat so much pastrami and be professional athletes all at the same time? Ladies, I'm impressed. There you go. Get yourself to Ike's. Check out Ike's Catering. If you're ordering for your office, you'll be very, very happy that you did. My friends at the Dubliner have that logo. My friends at the Dubliner have this t-shirt. I'm proud to display both of them. Dubliner is a fantastic place to go out tonight, catch game one of the Western Conference Finals. I don't know where you're watching the Eastern Conference Finals. That's going to be on Wednesday. Dubliner's open on Wednesday as well. Go in and say hi to Kenny and John for me. Tell them that the Plouffe sent you. No matter how many times you walk in there and say the Plouffe sent me, say it every single time you walk in there. Damon sent me. Then order the best poured Guinness in all San Francisco. Have a little J-Mo on the side. It's the most unassuming, best freaking bar you're going to find. Dubliner, West Portal, Muni drops you off out front. What more do you want? What is that, the K, the L, the M line? And I think all three of those shoot down West Portal. Double check that before you just start hopping on Munis, by the way. And by the way, speaking of double checking things before you just start hopping into them, that, my good friends, is the app Campsite Tonight. And to download that app right there, all you need to do is go to that little, what was it? It was a little banner ad right there. Campsitetonight.app. If you are going to be camping this summer in the state of California, especially, check out campsitetonight.app. It will tell you whether or not there's availability. It's hotels.com, but for campsites. This is a passion project of a neighbor of mine. We're raising our kids across the street from each other. I want to support him. He's been so helpful and supportive of me and my family. Download campsitetonight.app. If you are a fan of this show, if you're a fan of mine, whether you go camping or not, download it. He's looking to get some numbers up in his beta testing and all that stuff. The tech, I don't even understand. Go ahead, download that. And that's how we help each other out here. This goofy little community that we actually have each and every day. We come together and hang out for a little bit. Although I got to tell you, even though we got 125 people watching, only 61 likes. Come on, community. All right. What else we got going on today? Oh, those of you who are old enough to remember Ralph Barbieri's conversations with Brent Jones. They were very interesting. The two guys were diametrically opposed politically. They would argue over everything that wasn't 49ers football, but the one thing that they could agree on was Brent was a very good player. And he was. Brent Jones is a great guy. And even though he and I are, again, completely polar opposites, every single time I've seen Brent Jones, we've had a great conversation. He is a wonderful dude. He really is. And today I found out that he has been inducted into the 49ers Hall of Fame. And the only reason that surprises me is because I would already have assumed that he was in. How is Brent Jones not already in the 49ers Hall of Fame? Well, I'll tell you, it's because of the conversations that he would have with me. Brent Jones used to rip the Yorks on KNBR. When the Yorks assumed control from Eddie, there were an awful lot of lost in the woods seasons that were defined by bad hires and bad owners and not spending enough and letting your general manager live in another city. And it was a mess. The 49ers were the Cleveland Browns with better uniforms for a little while there. They really freaking were. They really, really were. And while that was happening, Brent Jones, who, God bless him, he gives no fucks, would come on KNBR and, unlike any other 49er player, would rip the shit out of the York ownership group. Destroy them. They'd bring on Jerry Rice. Jerry would never. They'd bring on Steve Young. Well, Steve is way too much of a diplomat to ever do that. Joe Montana, he knows where his post-career bread gets buttered, and he didn't, ever say anything. Brent Jones gave zero fucks. And he would rip them. Absolutely rip the Yorks. And it probably went a very long way into making sure that he was not in the 49ers Hall of Fame. Well, now he is. And the press release says, the San Francisco 49ers and the York family today announced that tight end Brent Jones will become the 33rd inductee into the Edward J. DeBartolo Sr. San Francisco 49ers Hall of Fame. I'm happy for Brent. I really am. Very happy for Brent. Oh, by the way, a new Ike's opened in Santa Rosa. You got two now? Hell yeah, Joe. Thank you, Joe, for the super. But if you have two Ike's to visit, you need to save your money for twice as many sandwiches as ever before. Brent Jones, quote, in the press release says, receiving the call from Jed York was incredibly emotional for me, something that I will remember forever. The fact that he's, using the, York, thank you, York, means that, yeah, he knows that he burnt a bridge there, I think. It's truly the greatest honor of my life to be alongside the legends that comprise the San Francisco 49ers Hall of Fame, one of the greatest franchises in all professional sports. I want to sincerely thank my coaches, my teammates who poured into me and allowed me to be successful on and off the field. And again, it's just amazing that this guy wasn't already in there. Brent Jones was a prolific football player. I mean, I know a lot of you are old enough to remember. For those of you who are not, I'm going to tell you that Brent Jones is one of those guys who helped really turn a position of tight end into a threat, a red zone threat. I'm not going to go as far as to say he's an evolutionary step, but Brent Jones was the tight end in the West Coast offense that, would block the hell out of you and then be catching a 7-yard touchdown in the Super Bowl. He was really, really good. And look, this is a 2-time All-Pro, a 4-time Pro Bowl selection. He still ranks in the top 10 all-time 49ers players in receptions, where he's 7th, receiving yards, where he's 9th, and receiving touchdowns, where he is still 10th all time. The way that the 49ers opened up offense in a way that the rest of the NFL wasn't even ready for when they started doing it in the 80s, and to see the way that offenses have evolved, and yet still this guy who played in the late and mid 80s is still in the top 10 is pretty remarkable. It really is. It also shows you that how lost in the woods there maybe the 49ers were for a while. I'm happy for Brent Jones. I need to reach out to him. I really do. I should reach out to him. I got his number. I know I do. And it's funny. One of the days that I actually presented and lectured at Stanford, I did it with Brent Jones. Brent Jones was in the class that day. It was an awful lot of fun. I went up there, just talked about life on the radio. Brent Jones goes up there with 3 Super Bowl rings. And I'm like, fuck. Thank God he went after me. Yeah, 3 Super Bowls for Brent Jones. Good guy. Happy for him. Good for Brent Jones. Let's see. Brent Jones still comes on KNBR with Copes and Derek Papa. Yeah, I mean, the check still clears. So that happens. It's amazing. You know, most shows keep the host and change the guests. That show decided we're going to change the host and keep the guests. It's a weird way to program a station. Anyway, let's get into the other stuff that's at hand today. Again, I told you, the beauty of this show, the beauty of YouTube is I don't have to drag you through a 4-hour freaking show today. We're just going to talk about the stuff that's important. Then we're going to get out of here. I'm going to tell you right now, on Thursday, which will be my last show of the week, we're going to do Wake Up on Thursday with Kruger at 9 in the morning. Then we're going to do a Plus show at our normal 11 West Coast time tip-off. And we're going to have Club Plus on Thursday. It's been a while. The squeaky disco ball is ready to go. So we will have Club Plus on Thursday. Be ready. You know, get your Molly, get your Special K, get your ketamine, get your whiskey. We're going Club Plus Thursday afternoon, and then Friday, Jillian and I taking the boys up to Tahoe for the Memorial Day weekend. We got some friends who got a really nice place up there. Said, you want to come up? And we said, yeah, yes, we do. I'm bringing steaks. Yeah, baby, I'm going to do some serious grilling over Memorial Day weekend. I can't wait. Also, what are we doing tonight? I'll tell you what we're doing tonight. We're watching the Western Conference Finals, which is opening in a very strange land compared to, all the other Western Conference Finals that have basically dotted your lifetime. How about this? It's been 29 years since the Western Conference Finals hasn't featured a team from either Texas or California. 29 years, nearly 30 years, 3 decades. Well, that's an awful lot of Warriors, Lakers, Kings. No, I'm just kidding. Sacramento, you don't know what the Western Conference Finals are, do you? But you got a lot of Warriors, a lot of Lakers, a lot of Mavericks, a lot of Rockets, a lot of Spurs. In the Western Conference Finals tonight, Oklahoma City. Good for Oklahoma City. By the way, there is something about that Oklahoma City crowd that I absolutely adore. Not only are they 100% to the person compliant about their actual T-shirts that they're wearing. You give somebody in Oklahoma City a T-shirt on the back of a chair at a Thunder game, they're going to put it on. 100% compliance in the arena. It looks incredible whenever they do it. It's sort of like Russian radio. Like they're a good 20 years behind us. During Game 7 against who they just bounced in 7 games, Denver, they actually hit Denver with the na 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 hey 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 goodbye. I mean, that used to be standard fare when you're blowing a team out. That used to be normal in gyms, and then it went away for like 20. I haven't heard that in forever. It was like so charming and innocent, and it reminded me almost of like a high school game. You don't hear NBA crowds anymore give the na 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 na. They usually don't even get the chance to because some in-arena DJ is, blaring fucking Squabble Up by Kendrick Lamar, which I got no problem with that either. But there isn't a lot of room for the delightful na 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 na. Oh, those are great. Those were great. By the way, Otis, who is a living radio historian here in the Bay Area, he said, yes, the Kerr weekly interviews on 95.7 The Game were contractually obligated since it was the Warrior flagship station. Kerr was on KNBR as a favor to Tom. Now that Tom's gone, no more Kerr for KNBR. Exactly. So that was my show, right? I mean, it was unbelievable. I was so set up for failure, still beat Tolbert in the ratings. But not only was one of my single greatest, like, this is something that I get to give you, shared with KNBR, because Kerr said, if I can't go on with my buddy Tom, I'm not going on anywhere. So I was like, Steve, you're kind of fucking me. But, you know, you're also, that's your boy. You guys are real friends in real life. So I respect that. So it had to be signed off on. Not only did I have to deal with that, but then literally Tom would come on, the guy that I was competing against, every single day in afternoon drive, and he would be the color commentator on the radio broadcast on my channel. Do you realize how spectacularly bullshitty unique that was for the world that I had to live in? But guess what? Still made the most of it, still won. And at the end of the day, what did it get me? Absolutely nothing. Here I am with you. So I guess it really didn't matter after all. By the way, San Bruno Mike wants you to know he's getting his safety equipment ready for Club Plus on Thursday. I got a fever, and the only prescription is more squeaky disco ball. Oh, Walken. Oh. I don't have a good Christopher Walken impression. By the way, 49ers Red Zone, you're right. Other country stadiums can get in sync, even with the singing. For some reason, Americans can't. It is the one thing, maybe the only thing that I admire about international soccer are the crowds and the songs. I think it's awesome. I think it's awesome when an entire stadium is singing some fight song or some goofy, whatever it is. Like, I love that shit. And soccer is much better at that than we are. I'll give them that. Smiley Dan. Did I hear safety? Safe to say. Smiley Dan. Smiley Dan is like the Avengers. He's keeping us all safe. Thank you. Will Jillian be back for Club Plus? Not on Thursday. No, Jillian actually lands Thursday afternoon, her flight back from New York, and then we're taking off to Tahoe. She won't be here, but I can tell you that I know my wife well enough to let you know that she is going to be taking advantage of any and all business class cocktails that she is being gifted on that flight home, as she should. Let me tell you, you want a wife who's a good drinker. You do. Jillian's a great drinker. She's good at it. She knows how to hold her liquor. She's the kind of chick you can go to a bar with and have a good time. That's what I'm talking about. Like, I like a girl that you can bring to a steakhouse and doesn't try to order a salad. We're here for steak. Get a steak. That's my wife. She's there for the steak. Red Jet. Jillian's the whole truth. No doubt. No doubt. Germany singing Country Roads by John Denver. Yeah, how does Germany have a better handle on John Denver than we have? I don't even know. David says, where in Tahoe? South Lake Tahoe, Tahoe City, Homewood? You know, honestly, I don't even know. My buddy Justin O'Connor, who has, crushed it professionally. A couple of years ago, they bought a second home up in Tahoe. They renovated it. They're Airbnb-ing it and using it themselves. They're all skiers and outdoorsy people. And it's a great investment property. I do believe it is on the Nevada side for, tax reasons. So, but I'm not sure. I'll know more about it, and I'll give you a full report when we're all back, Tuesday of next week, since we're going to be up there for the Monday Memorial Day. Speaking of members and love, JJ Rader, a member now for 17 months. Thank you very, very much, JJ Rader. You and your ganja jar have been a crucial part of this channel's success. There's no doubting that at all. All right. So what else have we got? Oh, that's right. I've been telling you, 29 years since the Western Conference Finals featured a team that wasn't from California or Texas. The last Western Conference Finals to give us a team, a matchup that wasn't one of the teams from California or Texas. It was the Chicago Bulls and Sean Kemp's and Gary Payton's Seattle Supersonics back in 1996. God, that's when I was in college. I graduated in 97 from college. So it's been a really, really long time. I'm going to say Thunder in 6. I'm going to say Thunder in 6 for the Western Conference Finals. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, you can set your clock to this guy. He's so dependable. Where I don't know if Anthony Edwards really is that guy where I can just know what he's going to do in any game. I understand that there's a little rest advantage there for Minnesota. I'm taking Thunder in 6. I think I kind of hope the Thunder win the whole thing. Some key NBA dates for you, the forlorn Warrior fan who wants to know when you'll be back part of the conversation. There are some interesting NBA dates coming up, obviously. They're important. And the upcoming day that I guess you really gotta have to pay attention to next, if you're a college basketball fan especially, is 8 days from now, May 28th. That's when the NCAA early entry withdrawal deadline is out there. In other words, you threw your name in the ring. Do you want to go back to college? You got to pull your name out of the NBA draft by May 28th. Then the next big day is going to be whichever day is the day after the NBA Finals ends. So between June 14th and June 23rd, we're going to see teams being able to start negotiating with their own free agents. That's going to happen the day after the NBA Finals is over. Then on June 25th and 26th, we get the NBA Draft. On June 29th, options and qualifying offers will be at their deadline. And obviously, this is going to be Jonathan Kuminga watch for Warriors fans to see what they do with him. Then June 30th, free agent negotiations open at 6 o'clock Eastern, 3 o'clock our time. And that's always a fun day. It's always fun and awesome to hang out with you. Thank you very much for being here. And as always, I want to leave you with a little today in history. We got 2 big birthdays today. Happy 52nd birthday to Busta Bus. Busta Rhymes, which honestly is one of the single greatest rap MC names that isn't celebrated. You know, everyone's like, oh, Buster, as in Busta. No, like I'm busting rhymes. It's an incredibly genius name for a rapper. And happy birthday to him, 52 years old. Happy 79th birthday, Cher. Cher, 79. I don't think she's had any work done. She looks great. Today in 1873, Levi Strauss and Jacob W. Davis patented copper-riveted jeans designed to help prevent tears in the fabric. And basically, this is a huge moment for the city of San Francisco. The Levi Strauss jeans basically patented today. Huge. He'd make so much money selling those, they built the Golden Gate Bridge. In 1901, a guy named Claude Grivolas patented the projector for 3-dimensional movies with one red, one blue lens. 3D. Patented and invented basically today. Happy birthday, 3D. Let's see. In 1927, Charles Lindbergh took off from Roosevelt Field on Long Island, New York, the first solo nonstop flight across the Atlantic Ocean, New York to Paris. That happened today in 1927. Think of the balls you need to do that flight. Good God. And for whatever reason, it must be like the end of the seasonal calendar because an awful lot of series ended today. In 1993, 80 million people tuned in for the series finale of Cheers. 1995, the last version of Star Search. NBC's of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air came to an end today. Roseanne came to an end today. In 2015, David Letterman stepped down as host of The Late Show, and I really got to pee. So this is where the show ends today. It's not the most graceful ending ever, but here we are. Sports don't build character. They reveal it. I got to pee. So like that, He's gone. It's going to be a great P.